two types of angles you need to know. One of them is called an angle of elevation, and the definition of this, I'll be quiet while you write it for a minute after I read it, but it's the angle through which the eye moves up from the horizontal to something above. And we'll draw a little picture. Oh my gosh. So if I'm standing on the ground and I'm looking up at the top of a building, the angle at which my eye moves up, that's called the angle of elevation. So you just need to know the elevation comes from the ground looking up. So we're going to say if we do a little triangle here to the top of this would be your angle here. So let's just call that X. That would be your angle of elevation. Angle depression might be what you feel every day in this class. The angle of depression is the angle which the eye moves down from the horizontal to something above. So like if I was standing on top of a building looking down at you on the ground, that angle would be the angle of depression. But here's what's tricky about the angle of depression. It's with like the horizontal of the building here. So here's the mistake that people make. So it's the angle from like the horizontal of where you are. So when you look down here at the ground, the mistake that people make is they want to put the angle of depression right here, but it's from that like imaginary horizontal line. So actually the angle of depression is up here. To kind of draw out that horizontal. And here's what's really great about geometry. See how this is like a transversal going through here? So if the angle of depression is up here, using what kind of angles could I say that it's also the same as the angle down here? Alternate interior angles, that the angle of depression is also the same as the measure as that angle down there. So if it helps you, it's just down there, but it's that angle that's there. It's the same. Okay, so what's bad about these is they're kind of wordy problems and you have to draw a good picture. The good thing about your homework is of the 5 questions I gave you, 3 of them have the picture for you. Only one of them. All right, ready? At the circus. The animals always do so fast. At the circus, a person in the audience at ground level watches the high wire routine. A 5'6" tall acrobat is standing on a platform that's 25 feet off the ground. How far is the audience member from the base of the platform if the angle of elevation from the audience member's line of sight to the top of the acrobat is 27 degrees? A person in the audience at ground level. A 5'6" tall acrobat is standing on a platform that's 25 feet off the ground. So this is 25 feet. And then I got a guy up here that's 5'6". If I wanted to write that in feet, what would I say? 5.5, so I'm just going to say 5.5 feet tall. 5'6" tall acrobat is standing on a platform that's 25 feet from the ground. The audience member from the base of the platform, how far is the audience member from the base of the platform if the angle of elevation from here to, oh, I totally missed it. I'm going to go from this way down. It's the whiteboard that I passed out when I drew this picture. How far is the platform from the audience member? So I want to know this distance, yes? That's what I'm looking for. I I drew my guy standing up because I don't really know how to draw someone sitting down, which means my picture doesn't look like a nice little triangle, but it really should be like this point should connect to this point and make a triangle. You know what I'm saying? So just let you know that we're not taking into consideration the height of the person because we're saying that he's on the ground. He's sitting on the floor watching it. So do you see how I have kind of a triangle here? So what was the angle that I have? This is supposed to be 27 degrees here. And I know this side, I have to add these together. Do you agree with that? That's really going to be like a total distance of 30.5. Which trig function should I use if I know this side and I'm looking for this side compared to 27 degrees? This side is what compared to 27? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? And what's this side? So which trig function should I use? Tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So I'm going to say the tangent of 27 degrees equals the opposite side, which I'm going to add those together and say 30.5 over the adjacent side, which I don't know, which is x. So you have to draw a picture if they don't give you the picture. Then you got to do the trig function. Then you got to solve the trig function. And this is algebra here. So when the x is in the bottom, it's the same every time. But if you don't know, every time, step one is you got to get the x out of the bottom. What would I do to get the x out of the bottom? No. I'm going to multiply by x, because that's going to cancel the x out. And then every time to get x by itself, do you agree we're going to divide tangent on the other side? So for me, I've done this so much, right? I'm really old, and I've been doing this since I was younger than you. Compared to how many years I've been doing this, I have been doing it a long time. So every time I see x on the bottom, I know that means I'm going to take the number on top and divide it by the trig function. But if you don't know that, you just do the algebra. And then you type that in your calculator. Show me the work so I can give you some credit. You guys are too young for hearing the water movie. Really like, show me the money. That's what they say. Show me the money. I say, show me the work. I don't know. He's a football guy, the agent. 59.9 if we go to the nearest 10th. Like, how did I get this part? Oh, I just typed exactly that. I wrote 30.5 divided by tangent of 27. Which means the audience member is, almost 60 feet away. Did you get it? Okay, we're going to skip the next one because one, running out of time, and two, we were really mad about this swimming problem in the So we're going to move to this one, okay? Maria is at the top of a cliff and sees a seal in the water. If the cliff is 40 feet above the water and the angle of depression is 52 degrees, what is the horizontal distance from the seal to the cliff? They always say to the nearest foot, and I always want to put a decimal. My cliff's going to look like a building here. Here's a foot. The cliff is 40 feet above the water. And Maria's standing up here, and we're not taking into consideration her height, apparently, so we're just going to measure from here. And she looks down, and she sees a seal, and I can't draw a seal, so we're just going to draw a circle. And the angle of depression is 52 degrees, so here's where I want you to be really careful, right? We're not going to put 52 degrees up here. You have two options. One option is you can put 52 degrees in here, and then you can kind of draw the triangle that matches that up here, right? Or I think it's smart, if this is 52, you can just put 52 down here. So I don't care which way you do it, but don't put 52 over here or you're going to get the answer. I want to know the horizontal distance from the seal to the cliff, which means which part of this am I looking for? This side? This side. This side. This side. This side? Oh, I already know the cliff is 40 feet. I want to know how far is the steel to the cliff. The horizontal distance. Horizontal is this way, right? This is 40. So my kids in 4th hour, when we did this section, they said, so in story problems, you should always be there because we want to go to sleep. I don't want to lead you astray and tell you to go to sleep here. And it's changed a lot. And a lot of times, they're talking about the first and horizontal. So a good guess if you use cases, no. But you should never have to guess because you should be able to look at 52 degrees and say, this is the opposite, this is the adjacent. Yes? Or if you wanted to use this triangle, this would still be 40, this would still be the horizontal distance, it would still be tangent. Either way, you should be saying the tangent of 52 degrees equals 40 over x, or x over 40. It's got to be opposite first, so 40 over x. And then just like the last one, because x is on the bottom, you're going to multiply x over and then divide by the tangent of 52. So you should be taking 40 divided by the tangent of 52. And again, please show your work. I know I can say this until I die. But I'm still pretty. 31.2 is what I got. Or to the nearest foot, we would just round to 31 feet. Well, that's a cool one about dolphins. Oh, wait, should we do this one or we should do the dolphins? Let's just talk about this for a minute. Vernon is on the top deck of a cruise ship and observes two dolphins following each other directly away from the ship in a straight line. Vernon's position is 154 meters above sea level, and the angles of depression to the two dolphins are 35 degrees and 36 degrees. Find the distance between the two dolphins to the nearest meter. I don't know why. This is a silly question. In pre-cal, we do a question just like this when we talk about the distance between two ships from a lighthouse, which is kind of important. You don't want the ships to crash into each other. Why do we care how far back the dolphins are? But I don't know that we're going to try and set this all the way up, but I can't just solve for the distance between the two dolphins. I can't do that. But what I can do is what we did in the last problem. I can find how far away each dolphin is from the ship. And if I knew how far away each dolphin is from the ship, what could I do to find the distance between the two dolphins? I would just subtract them. So this is a question where you have to do two problems and get the distance for each one and then subtract them. And I think that there's one of these on your homework, and we'll go over that whatever day that happens. You're welcome to bring this on Monday if you have a lot of questions, because there will be some downtime in here. Remember that Monday is Friday. Don't forget to bring your stuff for extra Friday. There's no one going to get up Monday. I'm going to get that on Monday. Yes, you can sing. I don't know. You're all figured for this. Number one and number two, you're just naming angle compression, angle elevation. So those are the same angle. The rest of it, you should see 3 or 4 drawings on picture. Have successfully give you a picture so you can just say that's about one. Guys, don't forget about the worksheet.
Send them off to the office, please.
It'll only be 30 seconds.
Keith Hansel, the office, David Johnson, Brianna Boswell, Corey